This is the Matchbox Big Banger casting. I love this casting. You saw me do one similar to this very recently. It was the brown sugar. Now, if we take a look back at the 1975 Matchbox catalog, you can see the Big Banger there at the top center of the listings on that page. Now, I'll admit, this one isn't in that bad of shape, and I'm sure some of you are screaming at the screen right now, telling me not to mess with it. Sure, it's missing the scoop on the engine. Sure, a lot of the chrome is off of it. Sure, the decals are faded away. But don't touch it. Well, too bad. That's what I do. So, like I said, I love this casting. I love messing around with this casting. You've seen many similar castings that Matchbox did based upon this, on this same casting. The Cosmic Blues, the Pie-Eyed Piper, like I mentioned before, the Brown Sugar. There's a whole bunch of them. They have different engines, different exhausts. The rest of the casting is basically the same. And so this is like the second one of these that I've messed around with, and there will be more. I think I'm going to do a full custom on the next one. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm probably going to take one that's a lot more beat to hell than this one and drop a different engine in it and that kind of thing. But this one, when I ordered the decals for the brown sugar, they were ordered from overseas, and so, to get my money's worth out of the postage and everything, I ordered another set, and that was the Big Banger decals, knowing that I'd be doing this one as well. So, yeah, this time again, I resorted to destroying a muscle machine casting just to get the scoop off the engine, because the scoop is perfect. It's just absolutely perfect for what's missing on this engine. It was on the brown sugar. I did the same thing on the brown sugar. I stole it off of Muscle Machines casting. And I don't know, maybe I'll do something with the Muscle Machines casting at some point, but that's not of any concern. I do end up cutting one of the posts off the scoop, using one of the holes on the engine. It all works out pretty well, as you probably saw on the brown sugar. Now, at this point, I had obviously used Citrus Strip to strip the paint off of this thing. And while this is a restoration, I just couldn't leave the body exactly the way it was, because there were some pretty rough casting lines, some areas that just weren't smooth. And while I tried not to go to excess cleaning it up, I still had to clean it up. I had to smooth some areas out because it was too extreme. I don't know if the heavier paint that Matchbox put on it originally hid some of that better than obviously the paint I was going to put on there was going to do. Or what, but yeah, there were just some rough areas. And besides, I really do enjoy filing these things down. It's always fun to just clean these up a little bit and get the metal to look better. And it's just really enjoyable to do this stuff. I've obviously sped this way up. I think this is 5 times normal speed, or at least it was a few seconds ago. But I got it to a point that I thought was respectable and yet cleaner. There is only the one post in the back because it hooks on the front. So I drilled and tapped that back post. I also did, you can't really see it here, but I did file it down quite a bit to get the back end to fit a little bit better, to get that base to fit a little more flush with the top part of the casting. That was a similar problem on the brown sugar. It just needed some work. It's not an ideal fit, at least not the way it's cast. So, I cleaned that up, got it to fit well. Now, as far as the plastic portions, there's the engine. I have drilled the holes in the top of the engine. The ones that were originally there, I drill out, and I end up only using one of those. And then on the center section, the base is metal, the top is metal. And there's that plastic center section that you see there. I stripped the chrome off of that as well. Both of these were missing quite a bit of chrome as it was. So got those in the super clean to get the chrome off of those because I will end up painting those. There you see the chrome off the engine. Cleaned up really well. There's 2 posts on the engine that then stick through the hood. And so I very lightly drill these, and I end up using self-tapping screws to hold that in place. It seemed like the best approach. And so here you see it after I've used the 256, I think by 1/8, 1/8 self-tapping screws on the engine. The bane of my existence, Matchbox wheels. Obviously, I'm doing restoration, so I didn't want to change the wheels. I thought about using the Muscle Machines wheels, but I decided I wanted to try and refurbish these somehow. So I tried this approach. I used the chrome pin on masking tape that you see there on blue painter's tape, and then just hit the wheels onto that. And while I did like the look to a degree, I didn't like how shiny they were. They were too shiny, so I do end up going over those with Sharpie off screen. But this worked pretty well. I was surprised. I think because the wheels weren't too damaged either. A lot of times those center sections of the wheels are damaged, and so trying to do this isn't going to work as well. So I get out the IPA because now the body's ready, and dip it in there. I just dunk it in the IPA as best I can, and then I use a blue shop towel, the blue paper shop towels, to clean off any residue from when I was filing this thing, anything. I've cleaned it already from the citrus strip. I wash it off well. But just in case there's anything left that hasn't been picked up in the buffing process, I went over this with a Scotch-Brite pad, buffing it earlier on the Dremel. And this gets rid of any possible residue before painting. I'm always happy with how this results. And then, I used color shot paints again. I used the red, which is stiletto. And then once the decals are on, I went over with the clear sealer. And there you see the chrome aluminum spray I used on those parts. And the decals. Again, these were ordered from overseas. And at the same time as the brown sugar decals. These are a solid decal piece. They aren't smaller sections. I guess that's kind of stupid to say because obviously they're a solid piece of decal. And you really have to cut them down to size well. And they're slightly larger than the original brown sugar decals that were on here. Well, the originals were stickers that were on this one. They're slightly larger than that, so even after cutting them the first time and putting them up against casting, I had to trim them even a little bit better than I thought I was going to need to. I put down a layer of microset, and then after letting the decal loosen itself up there in the water, I just throw it on there. There's only 2 decals on this. It's really pretty easy. I tried to get it off the decal paper a little too soon, which usually purchased decals for me take longer to come off the paper than the ones I print myself. I'm not sure what the reason is. It's obviously to a degree just the decal paper and whatever traits it happens to have. But these are excellent decals. I'm thrilled with them. I don't recall the name of the company that I ordered them from. Obviously, I've had these for a while, and obviously I'm using the word obviously a lot in this video. But I don't know why I want to say it was Blackthorn. I could be entirely wrong. But again, these were ordered from England. And they're excellent decals, just as the brown sugar ones were. So I'm certain I will be ordering from them again. Naturally, there's just a cost ordering from overseas that I didn't want to order just one set of decals. I will only show me applying one of the decals in this video. I won't make you suffer through watching me do the other side. But I did this out of order. You're actually seeing me go gauzy, 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 which I had forgotten to do. And so I actually recorded that after doing the dunking here. And I just edited and moved that chunk to the front because I'm supposed to say gauzy, gauzy, gauzy for those playing the game at the start of when I gauzy, not at the finish of when I gauzy. But, it's one of those things that you forget because I'm forgetful. Wick off a little remaining excess there and then put it under the cover to make sure no dust gets on it. I'm thrilled with the result of the gauzy on this, by the way, and you'll see the glass at the end. It was in good shape. It needed to be cleaned. I washed it off. And then there you see it. I mean, look how good that looks. And as good as it looked after I washed it, man, dunking it in the gauzy for whatever reason on this one really made it look great. I think it could be related to the deep blue color of the glass. There I'm using a resin pin to hold the glass in place. I thought about using CA glue and I don't know, just decided, let's bust out the resin pin. It's a Bondic resin pin that I use, but there's all kinds of resin pins out there that would work just as well. And the nice part is, you set it with the UV light there and you're good to go. Then it's time to put the engine on. There you see it after I've sprayed it with that chrome aluminum rattle can paint. I really like the result of that. Sometimes the chrome is too chromy, too shiny, too fake. And I like the somewhat subdued chrome look to this. And I guess, they say chrome aluminum. And yeah, it's probably more of an aluminum look. But I like the look. And there you see, that's the metal base. Did drop the wheels onto that, and then the center section goes over that center plastic section goes on top of that. It did have the 3 posts holding those two together that I drilled out off camera because, to be honest, the 2 posts that are up there by the front grille are exceptionally tedious to drill because if you screw up, you can easily snap that front grille. Word of advice to anybody attacking one of these, take it slow and steady on the front because, you venture into drilling those at your own risk because I have some of these that have broken front grills already and they haven't even been attempted to be drilled out like this. They're just brittle as it is. And so drilling those 2, the back post is simple. I mean, there's nothing around it. And there you see me using CA glue to hold it in place. That's all I did. I didn't glue the front posts because the way the grill works with the base, you don't really need it. That's where the hook is on the front. Keeps everything snugly together. But I did worry about that back post. If those 2 pieces weren't held together, I felt that the rear wheels could float a little bit, and I didn't want that. So there I go, throwing the 1 screw into it. And I think it turned out pretty well. The color, the red may be slightly different. The original may be slightly more orange. I've seen it various ways. There you see it, there it almost seems more orange, at least it does to me. But I've seen various photos, and in some it's quite red, and in some it is kind of an orangish red. But there you see it. You see the scoop on the engine is gone. The stickers are, they're stickers. They're in rough shape. A lot of the chrome is off the engine. There's the roughness on the chrome on the front. This side of the engine is really missing a lot. You can't even see it all that well in the pictures, but here you see where it ended up. And I'm really happy with this. I'm happy with the chromishness of the chrome. It's not overdone. I'm happy with the wheels too. The wheels, I swear, the Matchbox wheels are just frustrating. It'd be nice if you could purchase replacement wheels easily. I'm not aware of a way to do that. And it seems like more often than not, they're beaten up, the ones you have on your casting. So they're tough to fix. So anyhow, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this build. I had a lot of fun doing it. Everybody, stay safe and healthy out there. And there's the brown sugar alongside of it. I'll catch you in the next one.